That's that little ditty we were playing around with the other night. Listen, I wanted to apologize for the little 13-second rock and roll thing or metal thing, whatever you want to call it, I played yesterday and posted with a clickbait statement, which was totally unintentional. Why do we own different guitars? And a lot of people clicked on that, probably in anticipation of hearing why do we play different guitars, and not knowing that that video. If you've watched other videos that I do, you normally see me with a jazz box or my Corbin flat top Dreadnought, and my Corbin Tellys. So anyway, the idea or the statement basically was saying we own different guitars because each guitar brings out a different part of our personality. If I pick up a nylon string guitar, I start to play certain things. I start to discover certain chords or fingerings. If I pick up, this guy, a jazz box, all of a sudden you kind of start playing things that sound jazzy. And it's not just the guitar, it's the mojo of the guitar kind of seeps into your brain. If I picked up the Corbin Les Paul like I did last night and I crank up the amp, put some distortion on it, and all of a sudden you start thinking in different ways. And the same chords that you play on this guitar or on the nylon string guitar or on the Dreadnought guitar, they take on a completely different personality. And if you have some facility, some history of playing the instrument and listening to some different styles, I always go back to that music is just a language, and there are different dialects and there are different accents, and a G chord is a G chord, whether you're playing Metallica or you're playing a classical piece or you're playing Bob Dylan, and but each of those styles have their own way of attacking or of putting an accent or a dialect to that G chord. And then you add on top of that the musical instrument, the physical instrument itself, the type of strings, the type of amplifier, the processing gear you have. Those things all add to those styles. Some people wrote and said, gee, I didn't know you rock and rolled or you could rock out. Well, I grew up playing guitar in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And, I played those styles. And as I've gotten older, I like playing songs that have more interesting chords to them. And it's not because I don't like those other styles. I just like moving forward and learning new things. One of the problems I have had to deal with, and how I stumbled upon that little rock lick last night, was I noticed that everything I was starting to play, even on other guitars, I was starting to play everything with a jazz feel and jazz sounds, because that's kind of where I've been at the last year or two. And I realized I had to go back and turn the amp up and add some distortion and rock out a little bit and go back to my roots and play some straight ahead blues and straight ahead bends and those kind of things that are associated with that music. And and then I do the same. I get my acoustic out and I play Leo Kottke sounding stuff and John Fay sounding stuff and Bob Dylan and Jim Croce and what have you, and I try not to let the jazz style seep into those things unless I want to. I try to play those authentically. If I play a country song, I try to play it authentically. Although I can play a country song in a jazz style, and most people would find that pretty acceptable. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that that really wasn't a clickbait. It was just a little out of context, because if you weren't aware of what I've been doing and been posting, you would just say, hey, some guy playing a Les Paul turned up. And the idea is that everybody sees me with, this guy and my acoustics and my tellies, and I play very differently on every one of those guitars. I still play a lot of the same chords, but they take on a different feel. They're played in a different context. So a lot of us are very fortunate enough to have just one really good guitar. Some of us are lucky if we just have a guitar that's tunable and playable. And I'm extremely blessed that I've been playing a long time, and I have been able to run across guitars that spoke to me. I mean, I don't own a single guitar as an investment or as because of a brand name or an endorsement. They were guitars that they came to me, or I ran across them in a store. I put my hand around the neck and I said, "Man, I feel at home. This is an extension of me," and I like the sound and I like the feel, and looks were never really a major consideration. If the guitar was banged up and damaged, if it sounded good and played good, and it spoke to me, it was the guitar that I wanted. So anyway, I just wanted to clear that up. Everybody keep playing. I really appreciate the comments. They're very kind, and for the most part very unexpected. That this YouTube site was really not intended for that, but I'm going to keep doing what I do, posting some songs in my practices and things that I play for other people. And I'll remind you that if you play and you know someone who's homebound or ill or fighting a challenge in their life, it takes 2 or 3 minutes to record a little ditty on your phone and send it to them as a link to their email. And I call it Meals on Wheels with Guitars. So, if you've got a sibling, an aunt or an uncle, a parent, a neighbor who's having a challenge, who's facing a challenge, you won't believe the energy that you'll get back for doing that, and you won't believe the comments that you'll get back from these folks that I do this for, and how much it means to them. And it doesn't have to be professional. It can be very simple. It can be just a little song you want to play and sing and strum. It doesn't matter. They simply have a challenge, and it's something that takes their mind off of that for a few minutes, and it's amazingly powerful. So everybody take care. Thank you.